A reading from the book of Exodus. Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. Leading the flock across the desert, he came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There an angel of the Lord appeared to Moses in fire flaming out of a bush. As he looked on, he was surprised to see that the bush, though on fire, was not consumed. So Moses decided, I must go over to look at this remarkable sight and see why the bush is not burned. When the Lord saw him coming over to look at it more closely, God called out to him from the bush, Moses, Moses. He answered, Here I am. God said, Come no nearer. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground. I am the God of your fathers, he continued, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. But the Lord said, I have witnessed the affliction of my people in Egypt, and have heard their cry of complaint against their slave drivers, so I know well what they are suffering. Therefore I have come down to rescue them from the hands of the Egyptians, and lead them out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Moses said to God, But when I go to the Israelites and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you, if they ask me, What is his name? What am I to tell them? God replied, I am who am. Then he added, This is what you shall tell the Israelites, I am sent me to you. God spoke further to Moses, Thus shall you say to the Israelites, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever. Thus I am to be remembered through all generations.
Hello, my name is Stefano Dongo. I'm an alumni from Christopher Columbus High School in Miami, Florida, class of 2015, and I'm a Marist Young Adult. For this period of Lent, I would like to talk a little bit more on the story of Moses and the burning bush, which comes from the first reading on March 24th, 2019. To me, this story is very important because it explains how God is always present in our daily life. God always acts in mysterious ways. Sometimes these ways can be clear, and sometimes they can be a lot less obvious. For Moses, God was present through a burning bush that never seemed to burn. Moses' curiosity is what led him to go encounter this bush in the first place. There is where God was able to relay his message, which was for Moses to lead his people and to explain to them that God was going to come and save them, lead them to freedom. For me, as a college student, the message always isn't as clear. Sometimes through all my studies and extracurricular activities that I have here on campus, I get lost in my daily life and the message is oblivious. I know that God's there with me every step of the way through my faith, and I know that simple things sometimes is where He's present the most. Whether it be a motivation to do a random act of kindness or receiving a random act of kindness from someone else, I know that God is always present in my daily life. As a Marist, especially Marist Young Adults, it is important for us to lead others the same way that Moses was instructed to lead. I think the message that is trying to be portrayed here in this reading is simply that we need to be aware that God is always with us in our daily lives and that He's never going to abandon us. He's always going to be there with us every step of the way, even if it seems like He's not there at the moment. At the end of the day, He's always going to be there with us, and it is important for us to always make sure others are aware of that as well.